Greetings, friends. Welcome to the rabbit hole. It's worth consuming steroids. Is it really necessary to take steroids? Is it true that they make everything done in the gym much easier? Most trainers seem to like playing with people's health and attribute magical properties to steroids in terms of results and harmless in terms of health. Anabolic steroids are synthetic substances related to male sex hormones, androgens, causing growth of skeletal muscle, anabolic effects, development of male sexual characteristics, androgenic effects, and also have some other effects. Anabolic steroids were developed in the late 1930s primarily to treat hypogonadism, a condition in which the testicles do not produce enough testosterone for normal growth, development, and sexual functioning. Logically, this type of compound causes testicular atrophy, limiting sperm formation and testosterone synthesis to the extent of causing irreversible damage and sterility in men. The primary medical uses of these compounds are the treatment of delayed puberty, some types of impotence and body wasting caused by HIV infection or other diseases. During that decade, scientists discovered that anabolic steroids could facilitate skeletal muscle growth in laboratory animals, leading to the use of these compounds first by bodybuilders and weightlifters, and then by athletes in other sports. The abuse of steroids has spread to such an extent in athletics that it affects the outcome of sporting events. More than 100 different anabolic steroids have been developed, but a medical prescription is required to use them legally in the USA. In most other countries, doctors recommend them without any prescription, as do trainers. Most illegally used steroids come from smuggling from other countries, are illegally taken from US pharmacies, or are synthesized in clandestine laboratories. Most users are athletes dedicated to high performance, so they must resort to ergogenic aids that allow them to reach the highest levels in their sport. Scientific data, as well as experience, indicate that with resistance training and appropriate diet, lean muscle mass and strength can be increased when using anabolic steroids. However, there is no concrete evidence that anabolic steroids increase endurance or speed. Non-scientific experience suggests that athletes who consume these substances can perform high-intensity exercises more frequently. Although there are no studies confirming this effect or the mechanisms are known, only an increase in athletic performance can be pursued. Here we are talking about people and athletes dedicated to sports such as bodybuilding, strength, professional athletics. Here I am not talking about recreational bodybuilders from the third world. I have met many people in different gyms who injected themselves because the Ibiza vacation season was coming up, and they loved to show off some muscle on the pool parties. In my personal opinion, anabolic steroids are the gold of the stupid. In this video, when I refer to bodybuilders, I will be talking about the professionals in the USA and Europe, and not the recreational bodybuilder from the local gym. So, do steroids really make everything much easier? The answer is yes and no. Not everything that glitters is gold, nor is everything as easy as it seems. Steroids help enormously in gaining muscle mass due to the water retention that they do at the muscular level. People who do not train as demanding but who take steroids become bigger than natural ones who do train demanding. This seems to be very effective, don't you think? Steroids help maintain muscle mass while on a very strict diet. The body does not care about the bodybuilder's goals. The body only understands surviving one more day. That's why when a person goes on a very strict diet like bodybuilders, muscle is also lost. But when following a diet like the one I recommend, it is not necessary since the person improves gradually. You simply cannot afford to drive a Ferrari when you cannot buy petrol. Steroids fix that problem and help enormously during the diet. Steroids help when following a bad diet. Steroids become a wonderful help when it comes to increasing muscle and increasing metabolism. There are also many other drugs that help you stay lean even if you don't eat healthily. Steroids help in recovery and allow training harder. Steroids help in recovery enormously, and people can train more often, which facilitates progress and improvement in their workouts. Knows about steroids. Steroids are expensive and people rely and trust on cheap copies. Quality steroids are very expensive and most people do not have access to them. That is why they rely on buying cheaper versions such as buying from veterinary pharmacies, Steroids used for animals or buying from shady people on the internet or going to countries where the sale of steroids is not monitored, but which are of very low quality. As you can imagine, that is wrong, and generally the quality of the products is very, very poor, which makes their use even more dangerous. That is why for a bodybuilder it is more important to have a good distributor than to have a good trainer. Steroids damage health. I already explained this at the beginning of the video, but this version is shorter. The use of anabolic steroids comes with many negative side effects. Some are minor, such as gynecomastia, while in more serious cases damaging the kidneys, heart, liver failure, or death can occur as a result of their intake. Regardless of the experience the person may have, no one is 100% immune to the consequences. Steroids are addictive. I don't see the reason for the dumb coaches that recommend injecting a client if they are not going to compete at a professional level. There's no turning back. That's because the person has a new distorted personality, and stopping consuming it would be like committing suicide. The more the person identifies with physical dominance and with their big muscles, the deeper the place where they find themselves, and it will be very difficult for them to get out of there. It's a sacrifice that not everyone is willing to make. Much more is put at risk than what I expose here. I have friends who have been in that competition circle, and they have told me on several occasions that they lived in a continuous state of shock. A lot of competition in the gyms to see who lifts more or who looks better, or in the competitions to see who is who or who is better. It's a very special world in which one does not live unless it is under certain rules that in the end are the same for everyone. Health deteriorates, and life shortens due to so much hormonal imbalance. So I don't think a person has to be very smart to avoid that underworld. But tastes are tastes. At the end of the day, nature finds a way to balance things. As mortals that we are, we cannot deceive the universe or life itself, and when we do, they always come back to hit us harder than we did. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. In health and luck, until next time.